All right, the co-main event of UFC 128 was Uriah Faber taking on Eddie Wine, and Uriah Faber takes the win in that. Now they already booked Faber and Cruz too. As an early favorite, who do you have taking that fight?
I think Cruz takes this. The way Faber struggled to take Wineland down early on, and that's not any knock on Faber. I think it is more a testament to Wineland really improving, especially with the zips. I was really impressed with the way he defended. He had really dynamic hits. Even when he was on his back, he avoided most of Faber's elbows and ground and pound, and I thought that was very impressive. But Cruz's wrestling, I think, is one of the most underrated things in MMA, period. His knee tap, his takedowns, even his single legs, they're actually very, very impressive. Whether he decides to shoot on Faber is a different issue, but there's no reason for me to think that his takedown defense will be any worse. I think it will be solid. Obviously, you know, Joseph Benavidez was pretty competitive with Cruz in their fight, so that's a tough fight to pick when you have Faber, who I think is a superior fighter to Benavidez, with better wrestling and more imposing size. But I think Cruz's striking will be a little too much. His defense is very good, and he's very good at slipping punches and countering. And I think if he could stay off his back, which he can, I think he takes a decision. But the one interesting thing about that fight, and I don't want to take too long here, but is that Faber's submissions, and I mentioned this, they're almost like knockout power, where, you know, if you have knockout power, you can just land a punch and end the fight. And Faber's submissions are kind of like that, where he doesn't need to set him up or anything. He could just scramble, get a hold of your neck, guillotine, which is how he beat Cruz the first time, or, you know, just jump on your back and choke you out in a matter of seconds, which is what he did to Mizugaki. And that is always a factor in any fight, so it wouldn't shock me one bit to see Faber submit Cruz. But gun to my head right now, I'm leaning towards Cruz via decision.
Yeah, so coming into the fight, you believe that Cruz will end up being the favorite in terms of betting odds and all that?
Right, yeah, I would.
All right. The main event, Shogun versus Jones, we've seen that dominant performance by Jones going on the losing end for right now. Shogun, do you think he would be coming back anytime soon, or is he going to take a little bit of time off? And if he comes back, other than Forrest Griffin, what other opponents do you think would be right for him?
I really hope he comes back soon, because Shogun, the more time he takes in between fights, the worse shape he's in. I mean, people could attribute that to the lack of rehab, but he had rehab for his last fight against Jones. He chose to sit out, which I thought was the right thing to do. He had surgery, he rehabbed, and he showed up. Not that I think it would have made any difference in terms of the end result, but you can see it. He was a bit chubby. It's always a measuring stick with Shogun. If you look at the Chuck Liddell and first Lyoto Machida fight, where he looked in great shape, he looked far leaner. Shogun's cardio has never been that good to begin with, and the Machida fight, the first one, he lasted 25 minutes, no problem, but the pace was kind of slow. But if you really put it on him, he's going to tire. Now, if you look at Shogun's impressive performances following the Mark Coleman fight, if we're talking about the successive performances against Liddell, Machida, and then Machida again, those fights were kind of, you know, they weren't spread out. He fought Coleman, then 3 months later, I think he fought Liddell, and then another 4 months he fought Machida. And that's the thing you'd hope for in Shogun. You want him to fight often, to stay in shape. If you look at the Pride Grand Prix where he won, those fights also took place near one another, and that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a summer return for Shogun. Probably the Rio show, I would hope that's the case. And other than Forrest Griffin, if they could do Rogerio against Shogun in Rio, that would be huge over there in Brazil, because their first fight was legendary in Pride. And yeah, I think they should go with a rematch, either Forrest or Rogerio. Or if they really want to go for that fight, if Rampage loses to Matt Hamill, they could also have that rematch. In terms of fresh contenders, if they just want Shogun to fight someone he's never fought before, I guess Phil Davis, if they really want to push him up there. But yeah, I'm hoping for either Forrest Griffin or Rogerio Nogueira.
So say Shogun comes back, a 3, 4, 5 win streak, they throw him back to John Bones Jones. Do you think he will put up more of a challenge, being, staying in shape more often, or would John Jones just completely dominate him once again?
Well, you never know when it comes to staying in shape because Shogun is just so injury prone. I mean, the guy has had already 3 knee reconstructions, which is a lot for a guy who's 29 years old. So you never know about the shape. But even if he's in shape, which I'd hope he'd be, it can't possibly go worse for him. But I don't see it getting much better either. Shogun has never had good takedown defense to begin with. He's great off his back, but as we saw, Jones's top control is just, on a whole different level. And he likes to use the deep half guard and sweep, and he can't really do that against Jones. Diving for leg locks, that's not going to cut it against him. And even though on paper he's a superior striker, he really had a hard time with his reach. And in recent times, yeah, Shogun has shown really good strategic awareness, so maybe he could come up with a game plan, but ultimately that matchup is really tough for him. He could survive because there aren't too many guys with a better chin. There aren't too many guys with more ability to withstand damage. But yeah, maybe he doesn't get finished, but I don't see him winning that fight. Short of the best, well-placed right hand he could land, I don't see him winning that fight, even if they fight 5 times.
All right, we got about 2 more minutes left. I just got one more question left for you. The Rashad Evans and John Jones saga. It seems a little, obviously it's not scripted. There's nothing, pro wrestling WWE-ish going on with it. But a lot of people could say that's sort of what's going on. Do you think it's good for the business, or it's good that they have this type of drama going on, like the whole Greg Jackson thing?
In terms of business and getting buy rates for the UFC, and if you don't take into account what it means for Team Jackson, yeah, I think it's good. It's one of those feuds where nothing is manufactured. They actually have a backstory. I don't want to say they dislike each other, but they have a reason to not like each other. Evans feels betrayed. Jones feels Evans is taking it too badly. Yeah, it's kind of the soap opera thing that people could get captivated by. So yeah, I think the UFC would be smart enough to play this up, and it should definitely help the buy rate.
All right, I wish we had more time to continue talking to you. We had a great time talking to you. We hope to have you on the show once again in the coming weeks, and enjoy your stay in Lebanon, my friend.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, take care. You can follow Samir Kadi on Samir Kadi MMA at Twitter, and you can read his columns on 411mania.com. It's the Rear Naked column. He usually releases them every week or every few
on the MMA page.
On the MMA page. And I'm glad that we got him onto it. I've been reading his columns a lot, and he's been great. Great perspectives, very insightful, and a lot of perspectives that not a lot of people see. What do you guys think?
Yeah, for sure. He's got some good things to say for sure. That's why I always enjoy his columns. I think he's the best one on the 411.
All right. Well, we don't have any time remaining actually.
Right.
So
Sam Stout on the blog.
Yes, I'm gonna put the Sam Stout interview. I promise. Right now, I'm gonna get back to my room, put it on the blog for you guys to listen to. I apologize again. I have no idea why it's not working.
And what's
Blame
the blog?
equipment. It's www.themmaweighin.blogspot.com.
All right.
And we have our MMA.
Like us on Facebook.
We have our.
Yes, check
We
it
have
out
our
on
fan
Facebook.
page as well on Facebook, the MMA Weigh In. So go ahead, please like that. And we promise we continue to have more guests, more entertainment, and more pleasure for your ears. Peace out. It's Jazz, Tony, Prab, and we will see you next week. Peace out.
See ya.
See ya.